Hello everyone, and welcome to the car news.
Let's go.
New 2022 Toyota GR Corolla set for New York debut. Toyota will publicly debut the GR Corolla, its new Honda Civic Type R and Volkswagen Golf R rival, at the New York International Auto Show later this month. A new entry to the fearsome hot hatchback segment, the long-awaited GR Corolla will take to the show floor on from 15 to the 24th of April, at the Jacob K. Javits Convention Center in Manhattan. The hot new take on the Toyota Corolla joins a quickly expanding lineup of hot Toyotas developed by the Gazoo Racing Performance Division, alongside the Toyota GR Yaris, Toyota GR Supra and Toyota GR86. But unlike those cars, it isn't destined for sale in Europe. The hikes come courtesy of a triple-exit exhaust, which reduces back pressure and improves exhaust flow, a new, multi-oil jet piston, cooling system, larger exhaust valves and a part-machined intake port. Power is sent to both axles through a 6-speed manual gearbox, as in the GR Yaris, with an intelligent manual transmission, IMT function, which essentially serves as a rev-matching function for smoother downshifts. The top-rung Circuit Edition car is also equipped with a pair of torsion differentials for improved grip and cornering response. Toyota has yet to confirm performance figures, but expect a 0-62 mph time nudging 5.0 seconds. While the GR Corolla's silhouette is more closely related to the car on which it's based than with the GR Yaris and regular Yaris, Toyota claims the highly rigid body was specially constructed for the new car. Over standard, it features extra welds around chassis joints and more extensive use of structural adhesive between various components. It's also said to be lighter than the standard Corolla without compromising strength or safety. Lightweight materials are used throughout, taking the standard GR Corolla to a curb weight of 1,474 kilograms, and the Circuit Edition takes that ethos further with a forged carbon fiber roof panel and an aluminium bonnet and front doors. The rally-inspired visual makeover introduces black trim details, gaping intakes on the bonnet and sides, heavily flared wheel arches and, most obviously, a prominent wing stretching out over the rear screen. That's matched by motorsport-inspired tweaks to the cabin, including a leather-trimmed GR steering wheel, GR badged seats and aluminium pedals, and on the Circuit Edition, suede seats and a shift knob signed by Toyota President Akio Toyoda. The 2022 Mercedes-AMG EQS starts at $148,550, add some free charging. AMG's first fully electric model comes in 2 trims and includes 2 years of free fast charging access through Electrify America. The 2022 Mercedes-AMG EQS will start at $148,550 when the all-electric sedan goes on sale this spring. Mercedes says the AMG EQS includes 2 years of free fast charging at Electrify America, but sessions are limited to 30 minutes. The 2022 AMG EQS will be offered in 2 well-equipped trim levels, Exclusive and Pinnacle. The price of admission for the electrified luxury thrill ride known as the 2022 Mercedes-AMG EQS is a cool $148,550. That 6-figure starting price nets the buyer the first fully electric model from AMG, which fans of the brand will recognize as Mercedes' storied performance division. Every AMG EQS features a dual-motor, all-wheel drive powertrain that generates 649 horsepower, but that output goes as high as 751 ponies. We've experienced firsthand the breathtaking acceleration that all that electrified horsepower provides. What we haven't experienced is the free fast charging access at Electrify America charging stations that Mercedes says it'll provide for the first 2 years. While the company says the number of times owners can charge is unlimited, each individual session is limited to 30 minutes. Along with announcing the starting price of the 2022 AMG tuned EQS, Mercedes says that it'll be offered in either exclusive or pinnacle trim levels when it reaches the US market this spring. The list of features that come standard on both models includes the 56-inch hyperscreen, an adjustable air suspension with adaptive dampers that are specially tuned, and rear axle steering that can turn up to 9 degrees. New Alpina B4 Gran Coupe arrives with 488 bhp. For anyone wanting BMW M4 pace with more practicality and a greater emphasis on comfort, there's a new option from Alpina. The company, which was recently acquired by BMW, has revealed the B4 Gran Coupe, which is powered by the M3 and M4's twin-turbo, S58, Inline-Six. It's slightly down on power compared to the M4 competition with its 488 bhp output, but the peak torque figure of 730 Nm betters the BMW by a considerable 80 Nm. The 0-62 mph time meanwhile is 3.7 seconds, 0.2 faster than the M4, and the top speed is 187 mph. Its 4 Series Gran Coupe body distinguishes it even more from the official M car, which is only available as a coupe or convertible. Further enhancing its looks is a set of Alpina's trademark 20-spoke wheels, here in forged 20-inch form and weighing just 12 kilograms each. There's also an Alpina-branded front splitter, a rear boot spoiler, a quad-oval exit exhaust, and optional Alpina stripe decals. Hinting that the B4 Gran Coupe isn't a typical uncompromising performance car, Alpina says it combines emotional driving dynamics with comfortable touring. Chassis modifications include an additional 1.25 degrees of negative camber for the front wheels, new front anti-roll bars and a bespoke spring and damper setup. Wrapping those 20-inch wheels are bespoke Pirelli P0 tires. During the development of these, Alpina claims equal emphasis was placed on ride comfort and dynamic characteristics. Underneath the wheel and tire combination are 395 mm front brake discs squeezed by 4 piston calipers, with 345 mm discs and floating calipers deployed at the rear. A high-performance braking system with drilled composite discs is available optionally. Inside, it's possible to upgrade the interior with naturally tanned Lavalina leather. There's a special numbered plaque near the iDrive controller, while the BMW roundel on the steering wheel has been switched for an Alpina logo. Even the digital instrument cluster has been tweaked to display Alpina branding and bespoke colors. UK pricing for the B4 Gran Coupe hasn't been revealed just yet, but in Germany, it's €91,800, around £77,750. New baby Skoda Enyaq to showcase brand's future design language. Skoda will introduce a new design language for its vehicles this autumn, and it has given a sneak peek at how the look could apply to an electric SUV. At the Czech brand's annual press conference, outgoing CEO Thomas Schaefer reported a tough second half of 2021, as the global semiconductor crisis hit Skoda's manufacturing. But the firm still reported an improved margin on sales of 6.1%, and made over €1 billion of profit, up from €756 million in 2020. Schaefer revealed that Skoda is targeting further modernization of its brand in 2022, and said that a new design language, labeled Modern Solid, will be at the heart of it. "You will see a wow moment for our competitors and our customers," he said. The speech was accompanied by a slide showing a mostly blurred image of an SUV, but with the front area of the car left in focus, revealing that it has a flush grille typical of an electric vehicle. It is likely that the model concerned is a concept designed to preview the new design language, but the Czech company also has a history of not issuing any show cars that do not closely represent final production models. It's hard to judge the scale of the vehicle in the teaser, but our exclusive image interprets elements like wheel size and wheelbase to show a vehicle measuring around 4.5 meters long, shorter than Skoda's current EV, the Enyaq, but longer than the likes of VW's ID.3 hatchback. Porsche Macan T 2022 review. What is it? When Porsche resurrected its T touring specification for the 911 Carrera T in 2017, and followed it up with the 718 Boxster T Cayman T combo 2 years later, we started asking the inevitable, When would a 4-door model get the same treatment? There wasn't long to wait. The Macan T, which in Porsche speak means touring, arrives this summer with a sharper dynamic brief than the vanilla Porsche Macan, along with sportier styling and an extended equipment list as standard. The entry-level car's 263 bhp 4-cylinder petrol engine is retained, meaning it sits below the V6-powered Porsche Macan S on performance, but a recalibrated chassis, stiffer anti-roll bars and a 15mm ride height reduction, 25mm with optional air suspension promise greater driver appeal. Visual tweaks include an agate gray metallic front splitter, mirrors and side blades, along with a roof spoiler and 20 inches alloy wheels in exclusive colors. How prominent they look is color dependent, but all help set it apart from the standard car. Inside, the sport seats get soft text inserts with silver striped stitching and are heated as standard. The Sport Chrono package is also included. Were you to spec a standard Macan to the same level, it would eclipse the pre-options price of a Macan S. What's it like? What the T lacks in power compared with the Macan S, it makes up for in weight savings, with 58 kilograms less mass over the front axle. It feels more nimble on turn-in as a result, letting you side through corners with the precision normally expected from a sports saloon rather than a compact SUV. The steering is weighted perfectly and the minimal body roll is controlled well. Porsche has retuned the all-wheel drive system for a stronger rear bias, and you don't have to push especially hard to feel it. Exit a particularly tight corner under a heavy throttle and the rear steps out ever so slightly, before collecting itself and pressing on. It allows for an entertaining yet controlled drive when you want, and confidence-inspiring levels of grip everywhere else. The stiffer setup is felt through the car's ability to cling to the road at speed. Sport Plus mode sharpens things up to the extreme, particularly with the optional air suspension that drops the ride height another 10mm on demand, but it also makes you feel every road imperfection, however small. Normal mode is far more relaxed for everyday driving. Porsche's quick-shifting PDK automatic transmission helps to make the most of the engine's power band, with peak torque arriving at 1,800 revolutions per minute and the turbo spooling up rapidly after. But this isn't an explosively quick car. It pulls smoothly, and the brake-based torque vectoring fitted to our test car helps to put its power down when traction is limited, but you might find the Sport Response button sees more use here than it might on other Porsche models. It doesn't have a particularly great-sounding engine note, either, although our test car didn't have the optional sports exhaust fitted. In all other respects, the 4-cylinder Macan remains an excellent all-rounder, small enough to place precisely on a narrow road, but with enough space to carry 4 in, relative comfort, and with respectable economy when you're not hustling it around. Last year's midlife update really helped to bring the cabin up to date, with a center console featuring haptic touch buttons instead of an abundance of physical ones. Android Auto sadly remains absent, but Apple CarPlay is present and correct, and the PCM infotainment system is a lot more straightforward than other Volkswagen Group offerings. Should I buy one? Stuttgart's brief was to give the firm's bestseller added dynamic appeal, without upsetting the established order. I'd say the Macan T is mission accomplished. Keen drivers already considering a 4-cylinder Macan shouldn't have to think too hard about stepping up to the T. It's not as characterful as the Macan S, and the upgrades won't make themselves obvious on the daily commute, but on the right road, it's a more engaging steer than the entry-level offering. Jeep Wagoneer rumored to be first to get new 500 horsepower Inline-Six. Stellantis' new twin-turbo 3.0-liter Inline-Six is dubbed Hurricane and could make its way into the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer as a $2,000 option soon. The Jeep Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer are rumored to get Stellantis' new Inline-Six engine, dubbed Hurricane. The high-output version of the twin-turbo 3.0-liter is slated to produce 500 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. Owner's manuals and a screenshot from Jeep's configurator purport to reveal towing and pricing specs for this new engine option. Stellantis recently revealed a new Inline-Six engine called Hurricane, and it appears that the Jeep Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer will be among the first models to use this new powertrain. TFLtruck.com found an amended owner's manual for the 2022 Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer that lists towing specs for the new twin-turbo 3.0-liter engine, while journalist Gary Gastelum tweeted a screenshot of Jeep's online configurator that briefly showed the Inline-Six as a $2,000 option. It's since been removed from Jeep's website. If we put all this evidence together with Stellantis claims for the Hurricane engine, we can surmise that the Jeep Grand Wagoneer will soon offer the high-output version of the Inline-Six in addition to the standard 6.4-liter V8. The Hurricane engines claimed 500 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque beat out the big V8's of 471 horsepower and 455 pound-feet. The less expensive Wagoneer might use the lower output version of the new Inline-Six, which claims 400 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. The Wagoneer currently offers a 392 horsepower 5.7-liter V8 engine with an e-torque hybrid system. The owner's manual shows that the 3.0L models offer maximum towing capacity of 10,000 pounds when equipped with rear-wheel drive and a towing package. This matches the 5.7L Wagoneer's max rating. Stellantis previously said that the Hurricane could make its way into any of its products with longitudinal engines, so this is likely just the start of this new powertrain's prevalence across the lineup. We think it will eventually replace the Hemi V8s currently found in Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, and many other products. Las Vegas night race joining the Formula One calendar from 2023. Next year, Formula One will be returning to Las Vegas for the first time in over 4 decades. However, unlike the short-lived Caesars Palace Grand Prix, which infamously ran for just 2 seasons in the car park of the hotel complex, the Las Vegas Grand Prix Street Circuit will take in the city's famous Strip. The Las Vegas Strip features the Nevada, U.S. city's highest concentration of glitzy hotels and casinos, which should provide a suitably dramatic backdrop considering the race will be run after dark. The 3.8-mile track will be the second longest street circuit on the calendar, behind Saudi Arabia's controversial, concrete barrier-lined Jeddah Corniche circuit. The design features 14 turns, a high-speed corner sequence, a chicane and 3 straights. One of these will involve a 1.2-mile-long blast down the strip. According to simulations, F1 cars should hit around 212 miles per hour on the track. It'll be a high-speed lap overall, with average speeds expected to be similar to those experienced at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Scheduled for November, the race will last for over 50 laps, and the roads are due to be completely resurfaced beforehand to ensure they're smooth enough for F1 cars. Las Vegas is one of 3 U.S.-hosted Grand Prix on the calendar next year, joining the United States GP in Austin and the new for 2022 Miami GP. F1 President and CEO Stefano Domenicali said of the new addition to the calendar, "This is an incredible moment for Formula One that demonstrates the huge appeal and growth of our sport with a 3rd race in the U.S. Las Vegas is a destination known around the world for its excitement, hospitality, thrills, and of course, the famous Strip." Ford Focus Streetline Vignale 1.0 Ecoboost MHEV 2022 UK review. 3-cylinder mild hybrid powertrain might sound feeble on paper, but it works really well in what remains a cheeringly fun family hatchback that has learned some more modern tricks. What is it? In its pomp, the Ford Focus was a giant of our continent's car market worth more than 500,000 annual European market registrations, but to find a year in which it recorded even half of that tally now you have to look back more than a decade. Landmark car or not, this hatchback's sales fortunes are dwindling, and that helps to explain quite a lot about Ford's latest model line overhaul for it. This brings a refreshed look, a new cabin layout and plenty of new infotainment and active safety features for the Focus, but it disguises plenty of cuts too. Where a couple of years ago there was a range of 3- and 4-cylinder petrol and diesel engines in the car, now only the originally entry-level, Eco Blue, options remain on the diesel side, while the upper-level 1.5-liter petrol options have been dropped also. Ford is using its 48-volt mild hybrid technology to bring a little variety back into the Focus's technical armory. The Focus's showroom range is now made up of entry-level, trend, mid-range, titanium, sporty, Saint line, and crossover-inspired, active, trim levels, and of regular hatchback and 5-door estate body styles. Ford's rather ill-fated Vignale luxury trim level, meanwhile, has been turned into a glorified options package available on all but the bottom-rung car. On an Saint line car it gets you a B and O premium audio system, an alloy wheel upgrade, Sensico, synthetic heated leather seats, digital instruments, a wireless charging pad, a ski hatch and some styling touches. It'll cost you £2,200, which could seem steep on a regular Focus that might already cost more than £30,000 before you tick any options boxes, but that's the territory in which this car now finds itself. The Focus's volume-selling glory days are behind it. In order to make financial sense for Ford, it now has to turn a profit via the most direct route available, and that means offering more to the customer than it used to, both inside and out. What's it like? The Focus's exterior refresh gets it off to a good start. The car has quite a bold and appealing front end with a slightly bluffer nose and grille, although the radiator grille and bumper styling changes depending on model version. The car's interior design has been tidied and rationalized effectively, but not driven upmarket much. Elsewhere, the Saint line Vignale spec sport seats are a little hard and short in the base, but the car's ergonomics are otherwise good, and the new digital instruments are bright and readable. On the move is where the Focus's really distinguishing qualities continue to be found, even in downsized mild hybrid form. The car's petrol-electric powertrain responds surprisingly strongly for something of just 999 cc, and with great accessibility of performance. It feels torquey, keenly free revving and characterful, which is a tribute to how well Ford has integrated the electric assistance, especially in tandem with a manual gearbox. It's hard to average much better than 45 mpg from it, but equally hard not to be impressed with its blend of qualities in any case. Those qualities marry ideally with a chassis that loves to carry a bit of speed, and still handles with true tenacity, incisive balance and outstanding cornering poise. There is a little bit of bite to the Focus's low-speed ride, in sport suspended Saint line trim, at least, but very little irritating jiggle or harshness, and just a gentle background rumble over coarser surfaces. It's a small price to pay for such great handling, though. Quick steering makes this a car you can flick through bends and just lob at apices as instinctively as some lightweight two-seater sports car. Excellent lateral body control and plenty of grip through those corners gives you instant confidence, while high-speed damping good enough to shame plenty of full-fat hot hatchbacks lets you carry as much pace as you like from point to point, even if point A is the supermarket and point B the office car park. Should I buy one? The original Focus was the car that set fire to the rulebook on how a family hatchback could handle 20-something years ago, and, somehow, the current one is still proof that its opponents and imitators have yet to figure out what makes it so good, despite having had several attempts in many cases. More than 20 years after we first met it, however, the Focus keeps Cologne's standards alive, and flying high. It still succeeds emphatically at making everyday trips feel special, and giving Ford the clear dynamic selling point that us Europeans have come to expect from it. Here's hoping it can continue to do that for years to come. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more car news.